All right. Good morning, YouTube. How you doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Checking in for the weekend. See what's going on. See what happened. See what you're up to. Whoa. Man, you guys show up fast today. I ain't got situated yet. Let's see here. So that's your weather snapshot. I'm trying to look up the Tommy Robinson protest to see if there's any live streams to pull up while we're here. And give me a minute. I don't have the chat pulled up yet. Where we at? Okay. I haven't had my coffee yet either. That doesn't help. Oh, snap. Let's see here. All right. Hey, good morning, Barry. How's it going? Same today. Yeah, this is the time of year where it seems like we're just on repeat, right? Like every day is the same as the day before. Seems like that happens a lot. Can you guys see my screen? I mean, can you see my, I got the weather pulled up here. Can you see that? Or I'm not sure if I'm coming through clear here. Morning, M. Long. Good morning, Walter Davis. Okay, there we go. Looks like we're good now. Should be 5 by 5 now. But yeah, I was looking for the Tommy Robinson march to see if there was any live streams to see what was going on with that since they delayed it for the World Cup last week. But there's it's quite wet out there, it looks like. Quite a bit of rain going around. The sporadicness of thunderstorms around here is pretty bizarre. There was a storm came through Thursday evening, I believe, thunderstorms. And they got like an inch of rain right at Incline Village, right next to Lake Tahoe. I didn't see nothing. You could see kind of like where the clouds are from here. And we didn't get nothing. It's just kind of weird how those storms work. I guess the thunderstorm cell just stalled right over Incline Village. Dropped over an inch of rain. So not only did we miss out on the rain, we missed out on any cooling effects, cooling breezes or anything. The last couple of days here has been stagnant, like 75 at night because of the lack of weather, breeze transport and whatnot. Just one of those cycles, I guess. All right, I got the yes thumbs up from everybody. I'm not sure about that, Walter Davis. I'm not sure about the conspiracy. Yes. How's everybody's week been, though? We survived, right? So live, it's the typical suspects. The only live streams are the Russian stations. Nobody else wants to pull it up. Check in real quick with that.
It's changed a little bit from the day for freedom. It's changed a little bit from the last time we were here. You might have noticed they tried to stop us coming here. Every time we've done this before, it has been predominantly peaceful, no matter what you read in the fake news media. And every time we've been here, we've had free access down this street, and we've proved ourselves time and time again to want to come here and talk about the issues. But this time, they wanted to stop us. Some of you were told this wasn't happening. Some of you were told you can't get up this way. Some of you have been stopped from bringing Sadiq Khan mockery balloons down here.
Uh-oh, looks like they cut RT's feed because they said something bad about the mayor. We'll come back to that. I just wanted to check in real quick. So that's going on today. Wish they hadn't canceled it last week. If they could have got 10,000 people out there marching in the middle of the World Cup, that would have made a statement. Or better yet, they should have marched to Russia and did it. Hey, Yankee 4, what's going on? Thanks for checking in. How's those coyote situation going for you? You're baling hay today, Walter? Was waiting for the dew to dry. Yeah, you wouldn't have that problem here. You'd have probably had your hay baled by now. But it's been going. So we'll check back in on them if we get the chance. I wanted to put this link back up. We did this yesterday, but anybody that may have missed it and didn't see it, this is a really good article. You want to talk about preparedness and what the rich are doing, yada, yada. This is a really good article, especially when you look at it from the transhumanist nature of it. But go check that article out, talking about the rich preparing for the after SHTF situation and their concerns. And my final takeaway is they know they're going to be worthless after SHTF. So how they manage that is going to be problematic for them. So that's in your links down below to check out. And this was interesting coming out of California. There's a mysterious rash going around. They're wondering if it was some of the fires, I guess. So I didn't really read into it, but they're talking about mysterious allergic reactions. This is Rancho Cordova. So is that down around LA? I guess those LA fires. No, this is more recent. Okay. The incidents happened last weekend at a time when several fires broke out nearby. That made people wonder if smoke in the air caused the complaints to the skin, which if something gets burned in the fire, I guess that's completely possible. Anecdotal story, anecdotal itching, scratching, rash. What's the number? Dozens of people commented, including who live near Rancho Cordova. Similar photos and reactions. I guess this goes into your protective equipment when you're thinking about protecting yourself from fire and fallout. Fire has fallout, I guess I should say, as well. It could be a concern if certain chemicals get burned in the area. Somebody has the wrong stuff stored in their house that goes up in flames. Very easily could have an effect. That's another possibility. They're wondering if poison oak could be the cause. Poison oak can travel through the air. The allergens are so strong that they can create an allergic response, but everyone has a different sensitivity, says the doctor here, dermatologist. They typically happen 24 to 48 hours after exposure. None of the firefighters are experiencing any symptoms, but they have rebreathers and they got full protection on, so that would make sense. So I thought that would be an interesting article to see if what the effects were. Maybe something got burned that could cause this. Listen what this what it says.
Cordova community is itching for answers tonight after several neighbors reported getting rashes and what appears to be a bizarre allergic reaction.
I was burning, itching, scratching, blisters all over my face, all over my chest, all over my neck.
Many of the incidents happened last weekend at a time when several fires broke out nearby. So that made many people wonder, was there something in the air?
CBS 13's Sharon Roget joins us live in studio now after trying to find out if the smoke in the air caused the complaints and what was happening on their skin.
Yeah, Tony and Adrian, it really is bizarre. And it started with one neighbor taking to Facebook to share her experience. She got so many others chiming in, saying they too had a strange reaction. And some raised the question whether poison oak could have played a role in this rash. One expert say it's possible.
My skin was getting tight and swollen and a bit itchy. I remember rubbing my hands and rubbing my feet, and I was just constantly itching my neck.
Jenny Matamoros took to Facebook with this photo showing the shocking skin rash she got Friday night just hours after returning home from a barbecue.
It can't be something I ate because we haven't eaten in hours. And so that's when I wondered, I wonder if anybody else in the area is feeling the same thing.
Overwhelmed by the dozens of comments she got, several people who live near her Rancho Cordova neighborhood of Stone Creek sharing these photos with similar reactions.
I was burning, itching, scratching, blisters all over my face, all over my chest, all over my neck.
Tamara Steinhoff said she went for a walk Friday, and when she came back to work,
started burning, feeling like I was itching. My throat was starting to close. Felt like my tongue was swollen. I couldn't breathe.
With grass fires popping up in that area over the last few weeks, many wondered if poison oak could be a cause.
Poison oak can travel through the air. The allergens are so strong that that's enough exposure to create an allergic response.
Dermatologist Dr. Emmanuel Mavarakis says poison oak reactions typically happen 24 to 48 hours after exposure.
Absolutely. If somebody's close to a fire, if somebody's in contact with poison oak, it's absolutely a possibility then.
But Metro Fire says their crews have not been affected.
None of our firefighters have experienced any kind of the rashes being described by some of the people in the neighborhoods.
Yet Steinhoff's doctor gave her these meds.
He gave me prednisone, and in the parentheses, the prednisone actually says reaction to poison oak.
A mysterious rash of rashes, making many question what's in the air.
So I thought I was the only one, and I was kind of, glad to see that there was other people that way, that maybe we can figure out what it is and it's not just a fluke.
Again, the exact cause of these rashes is still not determined.
All right, so there you go. Some poison oak traveling through the air. Be prepared. I was wondering what it was causing the rash. Just wanted to check that out. Wonder if it was some chemical that got burned at somebody's house or something else. You never know. So what we got going on in the side chat here? You posted a video, Yankee? Okay, I have to check it out. It's still early morning. I haven't got my morning routine down yet, so it'll give me a while to get over there. No, Walter, doesn't look like they burned a chemical dump, though. That's cool, Yank. You think you got it under control? Ban poison, right? Ban poison oak sparks, right? Right. Walter's got raccoons in the hen house. Who was it did a video the other night or the other day talking about they went out and there was raccoons getting in the hen house. Somebody just did a video about that. Oh, Irish USMC vet did. His last video he did, he was talking about how he went out and the raccoons are trying to get in. Pretty sure it was him. We do need a government regulation of poison oak. But see, Sparks, the problem is most of that's probably federal land, right? So they don't know how to manage it. They're not going to be able to regulate it properly. We know that. All right, Walter, good job. Got one coming through the wire, huh? That's always a good, successful evolution. All right, so I was checking in on the Cape Town water fiasco, and this popped up on the search. This is either the South Africa edition of the Huffington Post, I guess. Or is that New Zealand? Z, I never always get confused about what that stands for. But anyway, foreign-based Huffington Post writer. So Cape Town is only the beginning of the whole world is facing a water crisis. And we've kind of tied those stuff together as we've been looking at the different water shortages in different cities after the Cape Town fiasco and the different places that were having water issues. So future water security, there's been many video articles and stories and hypotheses about the water wars that will be coming when there's not enough water to go around, etc. So this article kind of highlights that. So they're talking about here first and foremost about publication out of India, the Center of Science and Environment, which I think was tied to that similar article we did, or we talked about with Pakistan's water shortage. I covered a couple weeks ago. The Water Practitioner Community gathered in Cape Town at the Biennial Water Institute of South Africa Congress in June. Who knew? So that publication was a few pivotal issues. First, it offered an external analysis of the severity of the extended drought episode they've gone through on the back of the 2014 El Nino event. Secondly, it illustrated once again that the class diversity of the water scarcity experience in South Africa, in particular the middle class inconvenience, dominated the media coverage, masking the real threat of socioeconomic stagnation on the one hand and a missed opportunity to highlight the need to bring servicing to the poor and vulnerable in South Africa on the other. Third is the worldwide nature of the challenge. 10 metropolitan cities of the global South are on the very edge of the water crisis. There's Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, Mexico City, Sana'a, Karachi, Kabul, Beijing, Bengaluru. Where is that? I never heard of that. Bengaluru. I've never heard of Bengaluru. You may know where that's at. In Istanbul. And on our own continent, Nairobi. In addition to these, there are 200 cities in the world that are considered water stressed. You can't pack a lot of people into a small box and expect not to have stress. It only makes sense. So that's their key people that are in water crisis, at least city-wise. Which Karachi and Kabul kind of makes sense. Sao Paulo and Buenos Aires, you would think would have some sort of water plan. Like they wouldn't have a water shortage necessarily. They got plenty of, water resources nearby, you would think, or be able to create infrastructure. Mexico City might have a little fewer problems. Both them and Karachi and Kabul are all high altitude, so they're going to be drier areas. Istanbul. Istanbul suffering from, you figure, desalinization is the way to go, similar to Cape Town. And Beijing just probably overcrowded. Just too many people. But anyway, so 200 cities they have is water stressed. Again, get out of the city. Don't live in the city if you don't have to. Pretty much you think that would apply to all cities. So when one looks to predictions for the future as illustrated in figure 1, I don't see a figure 1. Maybe that'll be further down. They see a spiral, and at the end of 2050, endpoint of 1 in 5 developing countries experiencing water shortages. The convergences of the predictions shows that a combination of a much larger population with increased longevity, future economic growth as the developing world catches up with the developed world, increasing consumption patterns, partnered with the impacts of climate change and increasing pollution levels. We'll see a global water stress future. Importantly, and in addition, there will be a concaminant stress in both sustainable power access as well as food security. So those things all overlap each other. Food access and being able to get food will be an issue. Again, you're cramming people in a place away from the food, so how do you get the food to them? Of course, there's going to be an issue. We have the added challenge of these sectors working very separately in response to these joint challenges. The quote, optimized path to the prosperous future can only be one of joint water, energy, and food security through a coordinated and synergized approach. Sounds like somebody made their master's thesis off of this or something. So this appears to be commentary from the writer here, not so much research, but more their review of the situation. The Water Research Commission has, through its Water Energy Nexus Lighthouse program, and together with its partners, built an important repository of new knowledge in this domain. It has also developed the beginning of a scientific community of practice to engage both the challenge and possibility of a future that is characterized by water, energy, and food security driven. That's what they just quoted. A nexus approach. How fancy word is that? Oh, you can say that all you want, but what does it actually require to be done? So considering all the three things together, water, energy, and food security, and developing solutions and interventions that are designed purposefully to have collective and individual positive outcomes across the three sectors. You can't benefit the collective and the individual at the same time. Usually doesn't work like that. Individuals suffer when the collective is held in higher prominence. It's simple. That's why socialism doesn't work. But it sounds good on paper, right? When you say it like that, it sounds great. Collective and individual positive outcomes across the three sectors. I mean, who wouldn't want to get on board with that? So this is more of the statements coming out of the water science community meeting there than South Africa, I guess they had. Going on down. So here they get into the climate change legislation. The new climate change legislation seeks to achieve a new industrialization paradigm as a pivotal contribution to the New Dawn project. The scale-up and rollout of the suite of water, energy, food nexus solutions have to be a keystone to this strategy. More quotes on the synergized approach of water, food, and energy together. This is a graphic of their 2050 water shortage, just stating kind of how it's a spiraling effect. Currently, by 2020, we'll have 30 to 40% of the world in water scarcity. Will this pull up? Doesn't look like it, unless you click on Pinterest, I guess. This is figure 1, I guess they were referencing. By 2025, they say 1.8 billion people in scarcity, while 2/3 of the world in water stress. 2025, agricultural needs an extra 1 billion cubics of water. 2030, only 60% of global water needs are met. Well, wouldn't that be I mean, if you got 40% of people's water's not being needed, isn't that really your point of, I mean, that's where it really goes down till right there, where wars start and everything else by 2030. 2035, energy consumption up 35%. Increase energy sector water demand by 15%. In 2040, water deficit if you want to quench thirst and keep the lights on. 2050, water stress extends to 3.9 billion or 40% of the population. 2050 as well, 60% increase in agricultural production to meet food needs with 15% increase in water use. Also in 2050, overall water demand increase of 55%. So that's their projections of the water situation, which is coupled with part of the, like they mentioned briefly up there, is the pollution problem. The pollution of the water, of potable water, is probably our biggest concern. And that's the end of the article. We kind of end it with that synergized approach quote once again. So yeah, dig your well, dig it deep, I guess would be that, and don't move to the city. You're not going to have water. If you ain't got water, it ain't worth living there. That's for sure. What's going on out there? Talking about coyotes. Wow, Walter, you get coyotes come through in the daytime? That's weird. That doesn't happen around here. I've talked, in the past several times about our situation. It's always going to be either it's like a 2200 thing, 02, and you might get them right at dawn, right around the 05, depending on the sunrise time. You might get them in the area, but they've never like hit the animals at that early in the morning. Yeah, 9 p.m. and one at 8 a.m. Huh. Interesting. Right, Yankee. All it takes is 3 days of no water. That's all that matters, right? Forget water stress. Making a water pipeline inland. Well, their water pipelines are already. There's a water pipeline from Lake Mead to LA. I mean, the water pipelines have been in use for 70 years plus. Long distance water pipelines. We're already been running this program for a while around here. That's the only reason LA and Vegas exist, at least in their current form. Yeah, use what you got, right, Yankee? Use that rainwater as well. 400 feet sounds like a deep well, Barry. Sounds like that'll get the job done. The biggest problem I think we're going to run into is well contamination potential in the future. Yeah, you might be pretty good with that, Yankee, if your well's 100 feet, but you live 30 feet above sea level. And you're fairly close to the ocean, too. You're not, like, too far inland. Is there no brackishness? And, well, I guess the water table sorts that brackishness out, even up to being closer to the ocean, I guess, probably. So there's a good story for you. Again, links in the description box. I really didn't have much more picked up unless anybody else wanted to talk about something, but there was an article about the Tommy Robinson supporter protest that's coming. Also, there was the protest against Trump and pro-Trump yesterday. They're trying to wrap the issues together here in this article, but and this is a Sputnik News article. Again, so that'd be the Russians are the only ones that are covering it, and everybody else wants to ignore it, I guess. Play it down, make it like it's a non-issue. This is from today, or yeah. So they're kind of giving some of the background to this whole what started it. Looks like there's been a petition of 400,000 people signing, requesting the release of Tommy at this point. Let's check in on that rally, see if the video ever came back up. And maybe not. They said something bad about Sadiq Khan and they shut it down, maybe. Let's go this is the other one. Okay, here we go.
In this shameful saga of Tommy Henderson's treatment, is to make sure that he is protected and has peace of mind while he's in prison. And I've been taking questions in the Lords, and I've been writing to ministers personally to try and ensure that this is so. My last letter was actually delivered to the prison minister personally, put into his hands by a fellow MP. So the prison minister, Rory Stewart, can't possibly say that his civil servants kept the letter from him and he didn't know about it. Of course, I don't know whether all this will have had any effect by the time you meet. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, I am trying to do with Tommy is to start a national debate about Islam. If the grooming gang scandal tells us anything, it tells us that we have a serious problem with Islam in this country. And I don't think we will ever defeat Islamism if we don't understand Islam. So we really must learn about it and talk about it. And I'm afraid there's some very boring words that come into this, but there are only 4 of them. But we have to understand them if we're going to understand Islam at all. And the first boring word is abrogation, whereby Muslims believe, or most Muslims believe, we should ask them, that the later verses of the Quran, the verses of the sword, outweigh the earlier, more peaceful verses of the Quran, the verses of peace. And if that is so, then Islam cannot be a religion of peace. I don't know enough about Islam, but I think we should talk about it. The next boring word is taqiyya, whereby
Muslims are encouraged to deceive their hosts and their host countries while they are growing in strength and before they are strong enough to take that country over. The third boring word is al-Hijra, and that is the example of Muhammad in 627 in Medina, when he was strong enough to take over the town and his countries, and he made an offer to his host. He said, either you join my religion, or some of you can pay a tax, or I'm going to kill the rest of you. And he killed 600 Jews in one afternoon, and Islam went on to conquer most of the known world. All this, of course, is within the context of Sharia law and the Muslim ambition to create a world caliphate. And in all this, ladies and gentlemen, I think the most important thing we can do is to discuss it with our peaceful Muslim friends, and particularly with those brave Muslims who are starting to talk about it amongst themselves and who are looking for a different kind of Islam. They're trying to reach a different understanding of what Islam really is. And if we can make it normal to talk about Islam, perhaps our political class will stop accusing us of hate crime whenever we try to do so. As I said in my recent interview with Tommy, I do believe that UKIP is the best vehicle for encouraging this debate nationally and taking it forward for the eventual salvation of our grandchildren. I leave you with one question about Tommy's treatment. If we go back to Canterbury a year ago, when he was arrested and given a 13-month suspended jail sentence for trying to talk to some Muslim defendants in the grooming gang scandal. And as you know, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ now can be interpreted as hate speech. So my question is, if a Christian had been on trial for hate speech because he had been preaching the supreme divinity of Jesus Christ, would a Muslim blogger have been given a 13-month suspended sentence if he had approached that Christian? Ladies and gentlemen, I think you know the answer, and that's where Tommy's present troubles started. Thank you. This is how legends.
So I guess that was actually a member of parliament, I guess, speaking via video there. Some pretty good words, I guess you'd say. What I mean about the strongest politician, but the strongest political statement you're going to get out of Britain, I think, on this whole thing. Most people won't even address the Islamic issue. They're just focusing on the free speech issue. Looks like Donald Trump showed up on stage. Somebody had a Donald Trump mask. Oh, you Yankees making biscuits and gravy for everybody, right? Is that what I just read in the side chat? If you're making biscuits and gravy, we'll be over in a minute there, Yankee. Might take a while for me to get there, though. Wow, Imlong, they have a spring water company, ships all their spring water to China. Wow, that's got to be expensive. That's fairly concerning that China's just going to basically taking all the water. You gotta that has to do a lot with their contamination, that they have so much contamination of their water table. They probably have to get it from somewhere if they don't find their own freshwater sources they have enough dammed areas, you would think that they would be able to keep pollution of their surface water, at least the surface water they use for drinking. But most of you people use surface water for irrigation, especially over there. I don't know. That's not good. So they're just having a bunch of speakers up here. They're right out there in London, it looks like. Oh, you're going to email the leftovers, Yankee? All right. All right. That's awesome. Please email the leftovers. The Yankees looking out for everybody. But yeah, Sparks, I think that was one of the concerns with the whole Nestle thing up in Michigan. Pumping water out of there, unregulated, essentially for free almost. And how much of that was going places. I don't know if anybody's got a good handle on how much water is getting exported to China or other places for that matter. I'll look that up real quick while we're looking in on the protest here. Water exports to China.
This man is doing the absolute best he can for his country and his people. And he is vociferous in his support of us, the United Kingdom. So when we get a visit, when we are graced by a visit from the leader of the free world, the President of the United States, what does our mayor and our Prime Minister, because he could not have done it if it wasn't sanctioned by Number 10. They don't lay out the red carpet. They decide to insult him by allowing this effigy. Now, I just want to touch on a double standard here. I think we had the King of Saudi here not so long ago, and even Robert Mugabe. Now, I don't remember members of the left looking for effigies and Sadiq Khan and Theresa May allowing effigies of the balloons of the King of Saudi to be flying over Westminster on their visit. It's pathetic, it's childish. And I put a tweet out the other day. The Red Hours, we were celebrating 100 years of our Air Force. And it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Over 100 of our finest flew over Buckingham Palace and the Queen. And a little soft spot for me since I was a kid is the Red Arrows. Now, a bigger bunch of lunatics I don't think exists, because the stuff they do in those planes is just scary beyond belief. But they are our finest. Now, when they flew past Buckingham Palace and they let out the red, white and blue smoke, I put a tweet out saying to Sadiq Khan, I sent it to him, and it was simple, because you have to be careful what you're saying to the Mayor of London, otherwise you could find yourself in chains and bondage in prison. I put a tweet out saying, this is how we grace our skies, Mr. Failure.
All right, we'll mute him for a second. They're giving the mayor of China the riot act there. So here's a recent article talking about the tariffs with China and trade war and polluted water. So let's see what this gets into. This is out of the Hill from last week. What is this? June 26th, 2 weeks ago. So again, the headline, hidden cost of China trade war, polluted drinking water in rural America. So that's on topic, if nothing else. And why is that, I guess, would be the question. Talking about how the trade war rippled through the country, affecting countless aspects of the U.S. economy. One of those facets is your water bill. So a recently released study by the Walton Family Foundation detailing the growing levels of nitrate pollution in water sources. These nitrates have to be removed by water utilities to keep drinking water safe, and this removal comes at a cost. Cost is passed on to you, yada yada. Removing nitrate pollution is expensive, but it requires significant capital expense to build the necessary treatment facility. So according to the study, the main reason nitrate levels are increasing is agricultural runoff. Oh goodness, get to your point. Nitrate and fertilizer, yes, we know. Leaves nitrates in the soil that ultimately make their way to the water. Limiting runoff by cycling soybeans into the usual corn. Soybean also helps absorb nitrates. So they're way down the rabbit. They're really trying to tie these two together. China just so happens to be the main buyer of U.S. soybeans. By essentially cutting off the main importer of U.S. soybeans, these tariffs remove a major incentive to grow the crop. While soybeans can be sold elsewhere to the countries aside from China, as a temporary measure, this becomes harder as the countries look to impose retaliatory tariffs on U.S. soybeans like Mexico. Also, other countries like Brazil and Argentina ramp up their capacity to produce more soybeans. The U.S. runs the risk of being displaced in the global market and longer trade war with China. So the supposition is people aren't going to grow soybeans, it isn't going to absorb nitrates, it's just going to get into the groundwater. Goodness, that's a roundabout way to get there. So a separate issue, but water related, I guess. So as the price of U.S. soybeans plummets, it makes less sense for farmers to grow them. Subsequently, the nitrate pollution in source water will only continue to escalate. As the problem grows worse, so too will the cost of your utility bill. So because we can't grow soybeans, fertilizer nitrates are going to get more into the water. That's what that article was about. That wasn't nearly as exciting as it may have seemed at the beginning. I guess I'm sure farmers would figure something out, a way to balance that out. They always do. There's many crops. Hey, Tony, what's up? Thanks for joining us. You among the living? You just get off work? Uh-oh, Tony's speaking Chinese in the side chat. That can't be good. There was a older article in here about shipping water to China from 2014. Where did that go? Yeah, it's from 2014. This was interesting. maybe tying into what you were talking about, Sparks, but you got to figure the situation hasn't changed. Why farmers are exporting water to China during the drought. Let me get this over. So this is from 2014, actually. It's a BBC article. Oh, this is, man, they lure you in with, and they put quotes, farmers are exporting water in quotes. But then they start right off. America's most valuable farming state using billions of gallons of water to grow hay, specifically alfalfa, which is then shipped to China. Yeah, this has been going on for a while, shipping alfalfa. Then there was a slight alfalfa shortage around the West this past year because so much of it got shipped to China and also Saudi Arabia and other places like that. I think the UAE, Oman, those places are getting alfalfa for dairy farms, I believe, was one of those as well. But so using the water it's part of the commodity business. That's not a direct shipment of water, but they wrote the article. They wrote that title good, didn't they? So again, that's an old article, but their premise is a little off. Getting involved in the commodity market after growing something with water is not the same as exporting water. It's a trap headline, as usual. See if the Brits have burned down. No, they haven't burned down in London yet. It's too bad. So what's going on with you, Tony? What's been, other than working? I know you're working. Right, Sparks, about the crop rotation and stuff. Yeah, the nitrates primarily get through runoff, is the supposition that it gets into surface water, and then because most of your municipal water sources don't then have to filter. Tony, send Yankee 4 your digits. Now, Sparks, they weren't giving the water away. I mean, you just saw me talk about it. I'm the chat. I'm behind in the chat, so you probably saw the rest of that story. They weren't giving away water. We know that. Hey, good morning, RG Homestead. How's it going? Did you see what I was saying about the catfish? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Yankee. The catfish? Is this up in the chat somewhere? Oh, the catfish ponds in China were so bad the fish die with the water without the water being filtered, right? Yeah, they have a lot of water problems there. I see. And you said it again, right? Yeah, they have a lot of lithium issues in China, other industrial chemicals from copper mining, all the stuff they do. Well, they call it runoff, Sparks, when they get it in municipal water, because the stuff that goes in the ground they consider to go into the local well, like a farming well. Like there's a lot of nitrates in the wells around Carson Valley, one of the heavier agriculture areas around here, but
Okay, so here's the thing.
Well, I hope everybody has a good weekend. If it's hot like it is where Tony is, stay out of the heat. We're going to have a rather warm day, but I think we'll be manageable. I don't know, Yankee. Maybe Chinese catfish just aren't as tough as those good South Carolina catfish. Yeah, Tony, I've seen some of the monsoon video. The monsoon in Arizona is pretty good too, I think. So hopefully Poison Stinger's got his rain catchment set up so he can catch some of that stuff as it comes down. Yeah, right. RG, do you have a rain catchment set up on your homestead? I know you haven't been there long, but as soon as you can capture that stuff, the better, right? That's just hot, Yankee. Yeah, Tony, you're not used to that kind of humidity, right? All right, fellas, we're about to wrap it up. The links for the Tommy Robinson protest here are in the description box below if you wanted to go watch after we're done here, as well as the others. And again, remind you of the one article to go check out is how the richest our people are plotting to survive SHTF and their problems they have. It really makes you think. Then you know that they're thinking, and their biggest problem is they're not valuable after SHTF. They're just a burden, except for the things that they've put aside previously. You know what they've stocked up and prepared is the only thing they're going to have. So how they can buy their way out after that is their concern, I think. So that was an interesting article if you didn't see it the other day. We talked about it. So with that, y'all have a good weekend. Get all those to-do lists shortened up a little bit. Football season's coming soon, so we got to get this done. At least that's my motivation, I guess. But anyway, thanks for joining, folks. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for the comments out there. Make sure you like and share. And we will talk to you all later. Live free.